This is BS USA, and you are talking to Big D. And I like to say, how you doing? And for the people who are listening to BS USA Radio, I like to say thank you for all the support that you've been giving us. And this radio live stream is to introduce myself to all the people who are listening and to tell you guys that we got nothing but love for you and to talk to you about why BS USA Radio exists, give you a little bit about my history and how all this came together. We do the 5 minute lowdown, we listen to good music, and we talk politics and what's going on in the world today. So BS USA wants to say to you, thank you for listening. So let's get into it. BS USA came from a very, very bad point in my life. And it was through the pandemic when we had COVID out there. Unfortunately, at the time, COVID was spreading rapidly all out the United States, and everybody was, experiencing the fear of COVID. But what pissed me off was that there was a lot of lies being said about how COVID was really not that bad of a situation. That it was just like the common cold. It's just like, you just get the common cold, and then after a couple weeks, everything will be okay. Or you need to eat better, or you need to just take certain types of things. It was all this bullshit that was being presented. And that's what really pissed me off. What pissed me off was the fact that there was a lot of bullshit about COVID that was being spread. And that bullshit was killing people because no one knew what to do. I found myself and my family found ourselves homeless through a pandemic. And it's stressful enough to be homeless, to lose your home, the place that you stay with your wife and your kids, and then there's a pandemic. And so now we found ourselves living in hotels, living in a car, living in motel rooms. I had a job trying to pay my bills, but couldn't get an apartment. You know, got evicted from one place. No reason for our fault. Just got evicted because the guy wanted to do something else, because of the situation at hand, because of the hard times everybody was going through. But the fact of the matter, if you get evicted, you cannot get an apartment. So you try to move in somewhere else, and you try to do this, and you try to do that, and you find yourself by yourself, you and your family. And there's no pity party here. There's no bullshit about that. My family, we roll up our sleeves and we get through the day. But we realize that it's a different world now. In the United States, the kindness and the compassion that people used to have when I was growing up was gone. It was just totally gone. And if they could capitalize off of you and take your money or make fun of you, they would do it. And that was no bullshit. And all of a sudden, you find yourself wondering, what country do I live in that people are so hostile to one another? My family is a positive family, loving family, be there for one another. And if you're not part of an organization, if you're not part of what other people are doing, they reject you, they ridicule you, there's a bunch of bullshit out there. So I remembered that while I was struggling with my family trying to get a roof over our head. Now, meanwhile, I was working. I was working graveyard shift, trying to do everything to get a large amount of money so I can put a big down payment so someone can let me rent their house or their apartment or their home. But remember, this is through a pandemic. People didn't even want to talk to anybody. You couldn't even go outside. And then I found myself without a job because everything got shut down. And my story isn't unique. Thousands of people in the United States experienced it. Hundreds of thousands of people all throughout the world experience these type of events. And what pissed me off, the BS that was coming out of the news media about this virus, this coronavirus, was nothing but a common cold, stuck with me till the day. 500,000 people died because of that virus. And the institutions that we rely on were not there. The leaders were not leading us, were not protecting us. And the scientific community was going back and forth on what to do. It became political, it became foolish while people died. And the sad thing about it was a lot of people didn't care. Didn't care about the truth. Didn't care about reality. I found myself with my family, and we were renting Airbnbs at the time because Airbnbs got cleaned every month or every week. You would rent them. So the cleaning crews would make sure that things were nice and clean. So we would be able to stay safe through the virus. We kept ourselves to ourselves. We kept close to ourselves so we wouldn't get infected. We moved from city and town and community, geographical locations, and there's a whole community of people like us at that time. And we would see each other, go to one hotel to the other that would let us in, and the hotels would raise their prices tremendously. There were some people on unemployment that their whole unemployment checks would just go to rent a hotel room. And the hotel rooms would just be just terrible. But it was the only place you could be. It was bad. Meanwhile, in the news media, everybody was talking about all you had to do is shine some light on it. All you had to do is drink some horse medicine or something. I don't even want to get into details of it because it was disgusting. I tried to stay healthy the whole time. I tried to do the best I could do and be the best I could be for my family, and I got sick because everybody had it. And I find myself on my back fighting for my life. And while I was sitting there fighting for my life, I was being told by people on the media that this was nothing but a common cold. That was a bunch of bullshit. That was pain and suffering. And it could have been prevented. Things could have been done differently. I survived it because my body just wouldn't die. I find myself sick. My family found themselves sick, and we're all cuddled together, trying not to die, waiting for a vaccine, waiting for the boosters. And then what really pissed me off was people like me was looked down upon and was treated with disrespect. Yeah, BS USA came from that. And I said that if I ever survive this stuff, if I can ever get to a point where I need to be, I want to do something. Because that's what Americans do. When we go through it and we get through the other side, we try to do something. BSUSA was born out of that bullshit. Now we have vaccines, and there was money given to American people because we were hurting. And it was no joke. We were hurting out here. And everybody was arguing about who didn't have this. But the thing was, we didn't join together. We didn't stay together. We didn't treat each other with kindness. We didn't treat each other with respect. It was disgusting. The wealthy, they were covered. The people that had resources, they were covered. And the homeless was treated like shit. BSUSA knows that because we saw it. I had my children in hotel rooms and Airbnbs trying to stay out of that virus. And there were lots of people who didn't have jobs and didn't have a will to even live. And there was nobody to be there for them. And I am the voice that you're hearing right now is from the people who could not have a voice of their own. And they died. And they were on the side of the road. They were finding themselves trying to use newspaper to keep themselves warm. And you go down the street the next day, and they were gone. And you know where they went. You know they were taken to the hospital and from the hospital to work. And that's what the virus did. And meanwhile, our leaders dropped the ball. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Nobody wants to hear that bullshit. Nobody wants to hear how people suffered because of indecisive decisions. BSUSA was born out of that. And so I know that people need to hear nice music because that's what I needed. People need to hear a kind word. People need to be lifted up. People need each other and not a bunch of bullshit going down. This is BSUSA and this is Big B talking to you. And I want you to follow me. I want you to understand that we are here. All the people who struggled through the pandemic and made it through the other side and didn't have financial security and didn't have a dime and that made it through to the other side. Yes, I'm in Honolulu, Hawaii. And when I was going through all the homelessness, I wasn't here. I was in California at the time. And other people all throughout that great country. And you can see it. There's YouTube channels that talk about the homelessness, and they look down upon them, and they look at them and go, "Oh, look, these homeless people, they don't have anything, and they are doing drugs." Everybody wasn't doing drugs. We found ourselves without opportunity because opportunity was snatched away from us. Jobs were snatched away from us. And we couldn't get help from anybody because everybody that we knew didn't have it to give. It wasn't our fault. Somebody was getting rich and other people were suffering, not getting poor, suffering because of the wealth gap that we have in this society. I scraped all my money together and I sent my family to this great place called Honolulu. And we prospered and we grew because the people here are kind. Yeah, Hawaii has their problems. Everybody has their problems, but the island people here are kind. And that's all we needed was a little kindness, a little opportunity, little no lies, no looking down on each other. And we prospered. We got ourselves a little place. And we like it. My kids are in school, doing well, straight A's. My wife is working hard, and I survived to a point that I can start BS USA Radio. And so I got nothing but love for people who are doing what we did, was keep on keeping on, keep on surviving, keep on making something special for yourself. And this bullshit that we've been dealing with for the last 4 years, 5 years, and the lies back and forth, people who are wealthy, got more money than you could possibly imagine, and that tells us, the American people, that they're there to help us. That's a bunch of bullshit. BS USA. This is Big D. I'll do another online talk about wonderful things, but this is my introductory video to let you know where BS USA came from. There'll be people who hate me because of the color of my skin. There'll be love me because of how brash and bold I can talk. But I love my country. I love every bit of my country. But I love my freedom, and I love democracy, and I want our country to be the best it can be. And that's no bullshit. Lots of people didn't make it through that pandemic. Never gonna forget those people. It's just through the grace of God that I'm here. Because there was no virus and vaccine for me. There was no vaccine that kept me alive. And as soon as that vaccine came out, I got mine. And it helped me get back on my feet. The vaccine that I took. And you can say whatever you want to say about these vaccines. Because I'm not a vaccine person. I like to keep my body pure. But that damn vaccine kept me from relapsing for the third time. And I knew that third time, if I would have relapsed the third time, I was never going to make it. So I thank the people, the scientists, the people who got those vaccines out so I can get it in my arm. So my children will have a father and my wife can have her husband. This is BS USA, talking our unique type of bullshit over here. And I hope you appreciate what I said. I hope you enjoyed the story. And we'd just like to say to you, we got nothing but love. So that is my introduction to BS USA. So thank you. Please subscribe to our channel. I'll be talking to you later about other things, politics, talking about racism, which is crazy in the U.S., talking about peace, prosperity, wealth, because I survived it and I got something to say. I love you all. This is BS USA. Take care.